Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Let's get right into it. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard as we are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. We are trying, Chris Fowler, I think we're having a little bit of a cell problem or a Skype problem this morning, but Chris is slated to join us here. We'll talk ESP. I think he's on right now. Okay, let's go to him here. Chris, thanks for the time today. How are you? Chris, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hey, Good morning, Chris. How are you? Thanks for the time today.
I'm good. Yeah, no, there's a little bit of a disconnect to this app. I'm good to see you guys. What's going on? It's like to get to Vegas.
When do you get out here?
Today.
Oh, today.
Beautiful. You're walking into 75 degrees, my friend.
Well, I'm coming from Miami, so I'm trading good weather for good. But
well, then you know what? If you're coming here from Miami, bring a coat.
I ain't coming for the weather. I will get out to Red Rocks and take a little hike maybe, but I'm coming for the game to see that stadium and to see who's going to go to the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you another one. You're probably only here for a couple of days, but come down here and check out the sportsbook sometime at Circa. It'll blow your mind, Chris, what they did down here.
I will. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I've spent plenty of time in sports books.
Yeah, very good.
I'm not allergic to the sports book.
Very good. So where are you at after last night's rankings and with what Bart had to tell your colleague Reese Davis? I know a lot of the media reaction was like, oh, this does not sound good with Cincinnati, regardless of what happens with Alabama. But are you comfortable right now and maybe thinking that with the win, Cincinnati is going to get in?
Well, yeah, I think they'd have to sweat it if Alabama won and Oklahoma State won, but I do think that'd be pretty cruel. It feels like the committee has weighed in on that. I mean, Houston, they're double-digit favorites in that game. I mean, if they take care of business, I don't think they'd drop them. But listen, they've done weird stuff before. I mean, I think the consideration with Notre Dame is interesting. I think that just saying that the committee is going to take into account the coaching situation when making the call sounds weird to me. That's what feels unusual. Brian Kelly not being there, that punishes Notre Dame's chances. I don't know. That doesn't feel right to me, but he seemed to indicate that the committee would take that into consideration.
Yeah. Think about how unfair that is to the kids at Notre Dame, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's just like the NCAA basketball tournament. If a star player is hurt, it's happened before, you take it into consideration. It's different in football. I mean, you got the entire team there. Does Kelly make a difference on Saturdays? I don't know. I mean, he's a good CEO. He's a good coach. His record speaks for itself. He's built the program back. He's leaving Notre Dame a lot healthier than he found it. But is that going to hurt their chances on the game day? I don't know. Oh. I think it'd be tough to penalize the team for that. I think if they're excluding Notre Dame, they want to look for a reason, because it is a fairly popular program, and that might be a reason, but I don't know that that's a good reason to exclude it. I'm not saying they belong in. I'm saying that shouldn't be the reason. They shouldn't be talked about, in my opinion, for leaving them out.
Yeah. Interesting. And the fact that they're going to do it Sunday when Notre Dame doesn't have a game left either. You think they would discuss that going into last night as well. The game you have out here, and you're gonna love the stadium, but this feels a little strange with the point spread. Being 3 or with Utah, and they just destroyed them in the first meeting. What do you make of the rematch in the big game here with the winner going to the Rose Bowl?
Same number as before, right? That's the same number that it was in Salt Lake City, which is, listen, the Utah home field is worth a lot. Like, it's one of the most valuable home fields. You guys know this. One of those valuable home fields in terms of disparity between how they play home and away. And now you got neutral, and they did kick their ass. I mean, that hasn't changed. Talking to the Ducks, I mean, it's very personal. They're going to be breathing fire. The whole personality of the program that Cristobal's tried to build, of being physical and shifting the emphasis away from a bunch of small, fast guys, was embarrassed. And now it's put to the test. I thought they responded really well against Oregon State. I just watched that game last night for my prep, and I thought that against a really physical team, they answered some questions there, offensively and defensively. And that Oregon State's no pushover. I mean, they're a great running team. So I thought the way they stepped up was impressive. I think it's going to be a lot harder for Utah this second time around. But, what's interesting is we were there a couple of years ago, and Utah's playing for the playoffs. They have everything to play for.
Yep.
And they look terrible. They didn't show up. They got out physical by a Ducks team that had less to play for. So weird things happen in these championship games. And I think that Oregon's guys have more experience in them and succeeding in them. Doesn't always mean that it's going to affect the outcome of this year. But I think the guys get into these conference championship games, and if they haven't been there before, they understand quickly it feels different. And then the playoff is different than that. And then the championship game is different than the semis. Every one of these tiers, this is old hat to people that play pro sports. But in college, they find out, oh, damn, this isn't what I thought it was. This is a little bit different than a regular season game. I'm hoping, God, I'm sure I hope it's a hell of a lot more competitive than the first game. I mean, I don't want to broadcast 38-7. I mean, that was just an ass whoop,
It's exactly what it was. Right. Yeah, you mentioned weird things happen in title games. It also happens in the Pac-12 on a yearly basis. So the biggest the biggest upset this weekend, you think, will be who?
You know what scares me a little bit? If you're just, Michigan, Iowa is a little bit, that number feels big. I know Michigan, people get caught up in it. You guys know how this works better than I do, but they get caught up in what Michigan put on the field last time against Ohio State, which was the perfect performance. It's the best they played in years. It's the best they've ever played under Harbaugh, I think. And now you put them against a team that's not as good as Ohio State. You think, well, that's going to happen again. You forget that Michigan's played 4 single-digit games in the Big Ten against teams I don't think as solid as Iowa. There was a good win at Penn State. Michigan State, I mean, they blew that game. Mm-hmm. You expect it to be a close game, but Rutgers, was it Indiana? They played a close game, or Nebraska. Nebraska was a very close game. So the idea that Wolverine's just going to roll out there and thump Iowa, even with their quarterback issues, I don't know. I mean, it feels like that could be a battle. It feels like it could be low scoring. I think for the playoff, for the sport, I'm neutral on these games, but you root for situations, right? It'd be nice to have the Big Ten in the playoff. Yeah. And a Michigan win would do that, and you get fresh blood, a real popular program in that 4-team bracket. Sure. Yep. But it feels like it could be tricky, right? I don't know. For me, it does.
Yeah. Does Georgia blow Alabama?
Man, again, that's your knee-jerk reaction is yes. If you can't get a first down against Auburn, it's been torched late in games by people. But Jamison Williams being in there, I mean, once he got set out for targeting against Auburn, I thought, oh, damn, that's a problem because he's been their one downfield big play guy. And for a while, that offense looked completely lost without him. And then they just go, hey, let's throw the ball to Brooks, who had 2 catches all year. He makes a circus catch. They get into overtime, and then they survive. But that's just the depth of the Alabama roster. Georgia's much better. I mean, they're just a much better team right now. I mean, yeah, I'm going to go. We're going to do the Pac-12 fly to Atlanta, get to watch it ringside. I'm very excited about that. We did that a couple of years ago when LSU played, and it's great for our playoff prep to see that game. And I'm just excited to watch it from the field. But Georgia should handle them. I still don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. All the analytics say Stetson Bennett's having a great year. He's elite in this area and this area, but I don't know. If they have to throw, if he's got to make a bunch of plays, I don't know. Yep. I think Georgia could be at a battle. And also, listen, these guys are college players. You talked about the new experience of it. They're told they're in. You don't even need this. And you can say, but an SEC crown means more than anything. The only focus, okay, I get it. But if you know you're in the playoff versus do or die on the other side,
sure.
Tell me, you just say for certainty how that's going to play in the minds of 20-year-old guys. I don't know.
Yep. Let's follow the money here on VSiN. Chris Fowler, our guest. Chris, we have a couple of minutes left here. We know that you're a big music guy, as we are as well. So I'll throw this question at you, and you can only pick one because you've called many, many sporting events across, not only this country, but tennis as well. Any matchup you want in college football in any venue across the world, or your dream concert that you can create in any venue across the world, which one would you rather do?
I feel like we get dream matchups. I mean, I think I go like dream concert matchup. You're talking about like you could do it anywhere. You could do it like a real small little setting, or I could be like in the front row at Red Rocks or something.
Yes.
I mean,
yep.
you don't understand what a complex question that is, because like Red Rocks is a beautiful amphitheater outside of Denver, and I've seen a million shows there. I saw U2 there, the one they actually filmed for Under a Blood Red Sky way back in the day. I've seen many, many shows there, but you don't want a real serious rock and roll show there unless you're really close. I mean, you got to talk about venue, seats, and you put the acts in play. I might have Rage Against the Machine and Metallica on that bill, but I want a little bit of texture. Can I pull in? I never saw, can Mark Knopfler get Dire Straits back together, because I never saw them play live. I've never seen Arctic Monkeys play live. There's certain acts that I've never gotten to see play live that are younger acts. I build a bill around them. Kings of Leon are buddies. I missed their tour, put them on the bill. I mean, this would be a long festival show, guys. Are you signing up for like a 5-hour show? Because I could do that easily.
Make it a whole weekend if you want.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Know it.
There we go. Then it makes it easier. We're doing a whole weekend. You can do like 3 nights of 3 acts each or something, and then you
great idea. I love where you're going with that. Enjoy Vegas. Enjoy Allegiant Stadium. Have a great call coming up on Friday night, Chris.
I wish we had more time, man. The problem is not enough time. Too much to do, but that's how it goes.
Yep, no doubt.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon. Be good.
Soon. Yeah, bye-bye.
There you go, Chris Fowler.
We'll see you Friday. Come in studio, 2 seconds.
6 a.m., you think? Full hour?
Yeah.
Chris,
cool,
no problem?
Cool guy. I knew it. Yep. How about
Very
that
cool
answer?
guy,
Metallica.
Yeah. That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Build your dream concert.
Sure.
Small venue. It's got to be a small venue. 2,000.
Rage Against the Machine.
Sign me up.
Fowler.
I'm there.
Fowler agrees with Herb Street. Cincinnati's okay.
NFL bets. Will Brinson, CBS Sports, coming up next.